Hello and welcome back to the Elite Takeover Podcast, the best place to get your wrestling news and reviews. As always, I am Aidan, joined by my co-host. Apparently just talking over me. How rude. And of course, today we'll be going through our Fastlane 2021 review on the road to WrestleMania. But before we get started, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe, like the video, leave a comment below what your favourite match from Fastlane 2021 was. And of course, we are available on all major podcast homes. So if you're on any of the podcast homes, give us a follow, a download, and give us a 5-star review. Really helps the growth of what we're doing here. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you giving us the time. So let's get going with Fastlane 2021.
Goodness me.
What a show. What a show. I feel like we're going to have very different opinions to most people with this show.
Yes.
Not like very different opinions, but I think we're going to be a bit more extreme than some people would be. But let's go from the top. We'll talk through as we go. But we start off with the pre-show match between Matt Riddle and Mustafa Ali, which was originally advertised as for the main show. So it's a shame it got pushed down to the pre-show. It was a really good match.
It was really good. I was happy with it. Yeah. And they have good chemistry together.
Yeah. And you'd expect these two to do great work together. They're both such strong wrestlers.
And the storyline also is something that was worth being in the main event, in the main show.
Yeah, the continuation of storyline from this match should have been seen by more people. Yeah. A lot of people will have missed this match because it was just the pre-show match. Yeah, they just showed the replay
and it doesn't make... it doesn't give the credit to the match and to
completely. But yeah, this was a really good match. Matt Riddle ends up getting the win. He's caught on the top rope by Ali and ends up powering Ali up and maneuvering him into Bro Derek from the second rope. It's really awesome.
It's a really cool move.
It was a really awesome way they did it. And there was a lot of entanglement in this match, let's say. The best match Ali's had in quite a while, but that's just because
it was really good. He was on top for quite a bit, which was nice.
It was nice to see him not look silly for once. And obviously this is the first match he's had in a while that hasn't just been 5 minutes on Raw.
Exactly.
So it's a lot better than the other match these guys have had just because of time, and that was really great for these guys.
Yeah.
But post-match we see Retribution will get in the ring and Ali starts shouting at them again, shouting at them for it's all your fault. It's all your fault. Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that?
Yeah, just because during the entire match they were always keeping back. They were we're not going to interfere.
Yeah, they didn't interfere in the slightest. Stayed miles away from the ring. And made sure to stay back.
Yeah.
And as soon as the match was done, T-Bar put his arm out to prevent any of them running into the ring to go and attack Riddle or help Ali get back to his feet. But they'll get in the ring and Ali's very angry, all of them. Mia Yim, Reckoning, steps out of line, gets in Mustafa's face, and Mustafa's like, no, you get back in line, get back in line. And she turns away and walks away. Slapjack goes to do the same thing, but Mustafa grabs his arm and starts yelling in his face. But Slapjack manages to leave. He leaves the ring, and it's just Mace and T-Bar left there with Ali, and Ali slaps the chest of T-Bar.
Yeah, really upset at them being like, you're not going to leave, you guys won't leave. And then, you're nothing without me. That's what we were saying.
Yeah, pretty much. And then Mace puts him in position for choke slam, and then T-Bar joins him for the double choke slam, and Ali destroyed. And Retribution. No more Ali and Retribution at least.
Yes, at least. It looked like Mia, Reckoning, when she was leaving the ring, the arena, she was kind of moving, touching the mask. So we kind of expected them to take the masks off or something.
Also, and it was also because T-Bar wasn't wearing his makeup, which made me think the masks were going to come off, but not tonight. Hopefully they will come off and they won't just stay like this, because they ain't going to get very far with the masks on, I don't particularly think.
It's something that I've been thinking for weeks now. It's just they need women in the division. Why was Mia just being part of a stable where she just wasn't used at all?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense for her not to be wrestling on Raw. They have such a lack of women. And the same with the
other guys for tag teams.
Yeah, they should have been using T-Bar and Mace more as a tag team.
Yeah, exactly.
And they can do that now if they want to.
I don't know if they will, but...
We'll see. We'll see where they're going to go with it.
I would like it to. because they're really good.
They need tag teams. They just need tag teams. And I haven't seen that much of Dio Madden's work particularly, but Dominik Dijakovic's excellent. So I'd like to see him do more stuff, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yes, we move on from this onto the main card of the night, starting things off with the Women's Tag Team Championship match. Sasha Banks and Bianca Baszler. Bianca Belair. They come out in matching gear, both in blue and red. Sasha's being Spider-Man gear particularly.
It's really nice gear.
Then out come the champions with Reginald by their side, of course.
Reginald with his new suit.
Yes, with his new suit, which is the same as his other suits.
Yes.
Really.
Yeah.
No difference in suits. Talking of suits, Seth had a great suit on the pre-show.
Yes, he did.
You can't beat Seth's suit game.
Me.
His suit game is the best.
Yes.
But yeah, Naya and Shayna, they had their little disagreement on SmackDown, but there wasn't that much of it in this match particularly.
No.
They seemed to get along fine. Like, there was a little bit of tension, but none to the point of like...
Nothing compared to Sasha and Bianca. Goodness.
Yeah, no. So Bianca looked like she had the match won, but Reginald caused the distraction. Sasha Banks then tried to deal with Reginald, but obviously this caused the referee to miss the pinfall.
Yeah.
Which caused, of course, Bianca did have the visual pinfall. Bianca's a bit upset with Sasha, but she's like, okay, cool, come on. We need to get on. We need to get on with this match. We need to get on with it. She has the tag into Sasha. Sasha gets in the bank statement onto Shayna Baszler. Looks like she's about to have it won. Bianca sees that Nia Jax is running into the ring to break it up, so Bianca runs over, tries to hit Nia, but Nia bounces Bianca back into the submission to break it up to save Shayna Baszler. And then Sasha and Bianca get in each other's face. Sasha calling Bianca just a rookie, that she's just a rookie.
She's just a rookie and she just got in her way. Like, she doesn't need help from anyone, basically. That's what she was saying. You're a rookie.
And then straight away, and Bianca gets herself out of the ring because she's like, sure, okay, whatever, man, I'll leave you to it, whatever. But she's still there on the apron, obviously. Yeah. But immediately, Shayna goes for the Kirifuda clutch, doesn't manage to get it in, but does manage to get a roll up onto Sasha Banks. Yeah. Well, we didn't see this on camera, but I'm assuming this is what happened because Nia was standing there.
Yes.
But Nia grabbed Bianca's leg to prevent her from jumping in the ring straight away.
She was trying to, and then we could see like...
Yeah, we just saw Nia standing there. They didn't really show what happened.
You could see like Bianca's leg kind of like stretched out, but you didn't really catch the moment when Nia
they didn't really catch the camera angle for that. But still, your women's tag team champions, Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax, very happy, and they wander off with Reginald. Nia just checking on Reginald, checking he's okay after the match.
Even though he didn't get hit at all.
Even though he didn't get hurt.
Sasha tried to jump on him.
Yeah, but he managed to move out of the way straight away. She tried to hit the Meteora on him, but he got out of the way. But in the ring, after the champions have left, Sasha Banks gets in the face of Bianca Belair. They start arguing, and Sasha keeps like piling on the idea of Bianca being a rookie.
Poking her in the forehead.
Yeah, poking her in the forehead, calling her a rookie.
Saying that like she had it won, and then Bianca's like, no, you didn't. Like, Nia was just about to come in the ring. Like, I was trying to help you. And she was like, no, it's your fault. It's your fault we didn't win. Yeah.
And then eventually Sasha slaps Bianca in the face.
Yeah.
And walks up the ramp with her championship, getting ready for WrestleMania. Bianca's down and upset about it, but then point to the WrestleMania sign to be like, I'm gonna get my comeuppance at WrestleMania.
I'm still going to WrestleMania, so
I ain't no rookie.
Yeah,
snap. It was a good way of, because I kind of expected Sasha to turn heel here, and I think they did a good job of kind of turning her, so that they can sort this out after WrestleMania, because you don't really. Like, Sasha's only just turned face,
yeah,
really.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say.
She's extremely popular. You probably shouldn't be turning heel, but she should be a tweener character. She works better that way.
Yeah, she does.
I'm quite happy with the idea of this. All of this tag team stuff to get to this point was just...
It was too much.
Like,
I know I voted, like, my prediction was that Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair would get the tag titles, but honestly, I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad they didn't,
but it has meant that Sasha Banks has been pinned by both Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler on the way to WrestleMania.
And same with Bianca.
And Bianca's been pinned as well.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, but on the pay-per-view match, it was both Sasha that got pinned. Yeah, it's silly the way this has worked out, and it's not a very good way to build this match. I'm sure the match will still be great, but it's just the issue. It won't be as good as it can be because of the fact it won't have the true heat behind it. But they still have 3 weeks; they can potentially fix it.
Yeah.
Next up, we had a match that was full of fire. They did a really good job of building this match, the Apollo Crews Big E Intercontinental Championship match. It starts with just as it should do. Big E straight out the gates, so much fire in him. Like he hits this huge running spear outside of through the ropes to the outside, and beats on Apollo Crews.
Yeah, and he keeps like just doing like belly splashes onto Apollo on the ringside and stuff like that.
It's a really the match is a really good teaser of what we're going to get at WrestleMania.
Yes.
Is what it was. And unfortunately, the match ends far too soon with a
far too weirdly.
Apollo Crews goes for a roll-up. They get the one, and then Big E rolls it to a different roll-up. The count starts again, 1, 2. Big E starts to transition out of the roll-up, but then the referee hits the 3.
Yeah.
Commentary's confused. Everyone's kind of confused as to what happened. And Apollo...
Also, the camera changed on the moment that the ref changed the count again, went back to the 1, which made it look like it was a TV glitch, which made my brain really confused.
It was just a confusing...
It was really odd.
Finish. And they completely ignored it, because as soon as it happened, Apollo Crews just beat up Big E for a few minutes. He just completely wrecked him.
Yeah, there's no replay of the ending of the match, no nothing.
Commentary doesn't say who won. Yeah. They don't really know who won.
Yeah.
The only thing that tells you who won is the fact that they play Big E's music for about 2 seconds.
Until Apollo
hits him. It was a confusing ending, and it's kind of like, why didn't you just have Big E off TV until after Fastlane?
Yeah, exactly.
Because this match wasn't needed to build this storyline. Their storyline was already great, and they already have so much heat between them. This kind of just deflates the heat for me.
None of them needed to take a loss.
No, I would have much preferred
a silly ending.
If they were going to do this, they should have just gone with the whole... the whole like DQ stuff, and like Big E going too far or Apollo going too far, because this feud can't be contained within a singles match. But the thing is, at WrestleMania, they're just going to have another one-on-one regular match. So, and I understand why they can't. Like, they're going to have the weird Braun Shane stuff that's going to be in an odd match. So they don't want to have too many gimmick matches, I guess, at WrestleMania. Yeah. But speaking about Braun Strowman and Shane McMahon,
oh god,
we find out on the pre-show, but just before the pre-show, to be honest, they put out a thing on Twitter with a little video showing of Shane McMahon injuring his leg whilst training for this match beforehand. We catch up with Shane during the show, and Shane is on crutches and he has an ice pack around his knee. Elias comes running up to him, and Elias wants to know if he wants to get his position at WrestleMania, because of course we're going to have fans. This is going to be the first time that Elias has got to perform music in front of actual people for over a year, and Elias is desperate for this opportunity.
And his own music as well.
Yeah, he wants to go and be there, and then Shane goes...
He's telling about Bad Bunny will even want to give his Grammy to Elias because of how good it's going to be. Yeah.
But Shane has no interest. He's kind of preoccupied with his own stuff. But eventually he has an idea, and he says, just meet me later, okay? I've got an idea. So we get to this match now, and everyone, it's Elias. I can't remember how they say it now.
Ladies and gentlemen, Elias.
Yes, exactly.
And they in the night. Sorry.
And they tease that he's going to sing, but Shane immediately is like, no, if you want to prove yourself, you have to be Braun Strowman for me here right now.
Yeah,
and then
he's
he runs away.
I know that everyone always interrupts you, but I just want to tell you, you're going to prove yourself. And by the way, you're fighting Broman. You're fighting Braun today. Bye-bye.
Yeah, Shane runs away. He disappears.
Yeah.
Braun comes out for the match. Typical a Raw match. At least Braun got a win, I guess.
Yeah, but
you shouldn't have advertised this match if you weren't going to do it.
No.
Like you could have done something on the show to get to this point, and it would have been fine. It's just I don't think it needs to advertise this match as being a thing.
Yeah.
You could have just had a thing being like, we're going to hear from Shane.
Yeah.
Or kind Braun,
like or like sometimes they do on AEW, where he's like Sting being interviewed or whatever being...
Well, they could have just done it as a thing where they go, Braun calls out, after Braun loses on Raw, they do a backstage thing where Braun's like, Shane, you better be at Fastlane and you're going to get these hands. Yeah. And then you kind of have the teaser of being like, oh, Braun's going to call out Shane at Fastlane. And then when Braun calls out Shane at Fastlane, Shane doesn't come out. Yeah. Shane forces Elias to have the match. Yeah. And I think that would have worked better, because the fact that you promised this match just feels a bit icky to do that, to be honest. Because especially since we all knew it wasn't going to happen anyway. Yeah. and they've been not
that's the
advertising it
thing.
all week. And
That's the thing. It's that people knew that it wasn't going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
So why
and they
say
like,
it was a match in the first
weren't
place?
even like advertising on WWE.com, but they still advertised it on SmackDown as being a thing and advertised on the pre-show and everything. Yeah, but as you would expect, Braun Strowman absolutely dominates Elias. He gets distracted by Jackson Riker for a second to allow Elias to attack the knee, but Braun managed to power out of it, hitting the running power slam. No interaction with Shane McMahon at all. Braun Strowman didn't seem to care about Shane McMahon.
No, he didn't.
So that's nice. Braun doesn't care. But Braun is like solidly a face now, though. Now
he
beating
is.
other bad guys. They had the Thunderdome was cheering him.
Yeah.
Shane has a instead of the Strowman Express, it's now the Stupid Express.
Yes, it's so funny.
Yes.
It's just like the little details.
But this match was completely unnecessary.
Yes.
We get a weird backstage promo between Riddle and Shinsuke Nakamura. Riddle riding around on his scooter backstage and runs into Shinsuke Nakamura and starts trying to sell him this business idea that Riddle has in terms of essentially
a scooter with hair.
Essentially pimp my scooter. Essentially
Yes.
is what he was
Yes.
is what he was advertising. We get the close up on Riddle and
Riddle's
it's
talking about his idea of having hair on the scooter, so it looks like you're riding your horse and like lights and
I will point out, I'm excited to see, like, because he's like with a massive ramp at WrestleMania, he's gonna have fun on that scooter.
Oh yeah,
Scoot all the way down to the ring. That'd be fun.
Yes, that would be really fun.
Or we can have like a super
and
scooter.
have a pimped scooter.
Yes, that'd be great.
Funny.
Let's do that. He can have a stallion scooter.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so we zoom in onto Riddle's face. It's very clear that Shinsuke's gone. It looks like perhaps we're going to get a surprise person who's perhaps going to be the challenger for the United States Championship at WrestleMania, maybe a return of Aleister Black or Andrade, maybe, but no. We just zoom out and no one's there anymore. Shinsuke's disappeared. Riddle's like,
you went to get your scooter, I understand.
Yeah.
And he just scoots off.
He scoots off and then you see that Shinsuke went and ran behind a wall and then he just pokes his head back out and is like, well, I'm going to go and have my match now.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, we move on to Seth Rollins taking on Shinsuke Nakamura. The real thing about this match was mainly just Seth Rollins shouting.
Yes.
He kept shouting about the fact that he was spun 22 times, the idea that Cesaro was watching this match. He was just shouting a lot, to be honest. His shouting was the thing that allowed Nakamura to kind of get back into the match. Nakamura got some moves in for a while, but eventually Seth does manage to come back into it. He does some cool offense from Seth, to be honest. Like the thing where he got his leg, he looked like he was going to go for a kick, got his leg caught in Shinsuke's arm, and then ended up kicking with the other leg to the back of Shinsuke's head.
Yeah.
There were some really cool spots in this match. And it all ends with Seth hitting the curb stomp eventually.
Yeah, he tried to go for like a spinning around as well.
Yeah, he tried to go for the swing on
Nakamura.
But again, that cost him. Whenever Seth kind of got too fixated on Cesaro was when Shinsuke would be able to get back into the match. No, Cesaro doesn't show up at all. No Cesaro in the slightest. The match was good, but it just kind of lacked the moving forward of the storyline, is what I would say.
I just ended there, and then there was no Cesaro coming out. There was no nothing.
There was no no promo from Seth, nothing backstage.
Yeah, exactly.
No kind of tease of actually like confirming the WrestleMania match or anything, or like what Shinsuke is going to do at Mania. Because Shinsuke is kind of lost now. I would say I don't know what he's going to be doing at Mania. Jey Uso, probably facing Jey Uso. If Jimmy's not back by then. Well, I assume not. But yeah, I don't know what Shinsuke is going to do at Mania, so that's going to be interesting to see. But the match was fine. It just...
Yeah, it was good, but it didn't have much to it.
It shouldn't have necessarily been on the pay-per-view, the one before WrestleMania, when the only point of this was to give Seth a win.
Yeah, exactly.
Is my opinion on it. Next up, we go to the match of the night, which was the big no-holds-barred match between Drew McIntyre and Sheamus. You have to ask though, what were they thinking making this a no-holds-barred match when they had a no-holds-barred match on Raw and it all fell apart and neither man won?
They hit each other with the steps and steel stairs.
They were just like, I'm sure this time they'll be fine. This time they can finish the match. And they did manage to finish the match this time.
Drew had a really cool face paint.
Yes, he was dressed up as Braveheart with the Scottish flag over his face. Lots of kendo sticks in this one. A lot of hitting each other with kendo sticks. We went out into the Thunderdome. Drew ended up eating a big I forget what they're called. Sheamus had him in the fireman's carry position and then did the jump over, so Drew lands on the floor on the wood up there. Sheamus ends up going through the screens in the Thunderdome, which I wasn't expecting. That really caught me by surprise.
Yeah, it was really cool. So, like, basically the screens were like, they will probably loosen up so that they would kind of open down, and then there would be sparkles on it, like electricity crackling. It was really cool.
It was a really cool spot, how they managed to do that. Really liked that. Really caught me out now because they've always managed to hide away from knocking any of that stuff down before.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like being up there is nothing new. They did it loads with the Roman and Kevin stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But I really liked that spot.
And then Drew McIntyre takes Sheamus onto the little wheelie box.
Yeah,
and
the equipment boxes.
Yeah, and he just drives him onto the ring again by the ring and everything. It's really funny.
Yeah, because of course this wasn't the Falls Count Anywhere match, so Drew had to get him back to the ring, gets him back there, but they both have to take a second. Sheamus manages to hit a bro kick onto Drew, knocking Drew over the barricade, and then he gets Drew on his back for the Irish, the white noise, and and he stands on top of the barricade and then drops backwards through the announce table with Drew on his back, gets Drew into the ring, takes a bit of the announce table with him.
Yeah, one of the legs.
Goes to hit an Alabama slam on it, but reversal. Drew hits the Future Shock DDT and then Claymore for the 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Again, it's very predictable.
Yeah.
It's a similar issue to the Seth and Shinsuke match, that it's very predictable what's going to be happening here and where it was going.
You could tell that like Drew McIntyre was kind of emotional by the end, which was really nice to see.
Yeah.
Like, it's nice for him to finally go to WrestleMania with an audience.
Yeah, it's going to be great for Drew to have that chance. Yeah. And I just hope I just put Sheamus with Riddle, please.
Yeah.
I think that's the best place to put Sheamus.
Yeah, it is.
Just have him beat Riddle for that US Championship. Because you're not really doing that much with Riddle, and Riddle's kind of better in the hunt, I would say. And if you're not going to be, if Keith Lee's not going to be back in time, then Sheamus is the best person to put in that position. And then down the line, you can have Sheamus and Keith Lee go at it, because that was kind of the storyline they were. Because they were kind of building that before, because it was all about they were both friends with Drew and both distrusting each other over who was really Drew's friend. And
during
it kind of
the Survivor Series and stuff.
Yeah, like and after that, through TLC and stuff, they were kind of teasing all that stuff, but it never got to go anywhere, unfortunately. So that's what I think they should do with Sheamus. I just hope he deserves a big spot of the show.
He does.
He
really
worked
does.
So hard.
He's done so well this last year.
Yeah, he is he's had such a renaissance.
Yeah.
Such a renaissance. And
yeah, I agree.
You think that he has and like his back the way it is.
Yes.
Like the fact that if it had been like years earlier, if it had been around the same time as Edge, when they happened to Edge, Sheamus probably would have been in the same position as Edge and had to retire.
Yeah.
But he's managed to work his way back.
Yes.
With a slightly lighter schedule, with more tag team matches, and now he's back to this point where he's having, I would say, the best matches of his career.
Yeah.
And he deserves a big spot at WrestleMania. And yeah, I think the only thing that would have improved this match for me would have maybe been like, because it was no holds barred. I don't really understand, like, why didn't you like have like Shelton and Cedric kind of come out? Like, because if I know Bobby wants the match at WrestleMania, but surely you want to have Drew going in there as like injured as possible.
Exactly.
So why not have the Hurt Business come in, try and attack him? Like, don't have Bobby touch him.
Yeah,
Bobby can stay away.
Doesn't need to.
But he sends in his minions, Cedric and Shelton, to get in there, which has like then we get a nice spot in the match where like Drew and Sheamus have to team up for a second, and then they turn their attention back to each other, and they're like, actually, no, I need to deal with you first.
Yeah.
Would have been a nice thing to do. I think that would have been really cool, but that's just me fantasy booking. But yeah, this was the match of the night. Next up, we had the spoopy match of the night. We had Randy Orton taking on Alexa Bliss. Randy comes out first, starts coughing up his black goop straight away. Give me a towel. Give me a towel. He has to go and clean himself up. Alexa comes out, not with her music, but with the Firefly,
with a little bit of her music,
with a little bit of her original music, and then the Firefly Funhouse music, but distorted.
Completely distorted.
I hated it.
Proper. I loved it.
I loved it, but I hated it
because it was so painful.
Yes, it was painful to my ears.
There was a lot of like slowing down the music, then fasting, like speeding up the music and
off pitching it and all this stuff. I didn't.
We're really glad that you're.
You sound like you were about to sing "Cast in a Cloud." That's what it sounded like, and it was about quite similar.
Yes.
But yeah, so get started. Alexa Bliss with her full magical persona.
It's magic.
It's magic. Immediately summons fire when Randy tries to hit her. Moves out of the way. Randy spears into the ring post. Alexa skips around the ring. Randy chases her around. Eventually, Alexa looks up and then looks down, and then suddenly a piece of scaffolding falls from the ceiling.
That was actually scary.
Yes, it caught me by surprise. Yes. Yeah. They get back in the ring.
It's magic.
Alexa throws another fireball at Randy. Sits on the top rope. Randy gets back to his feet, and suddenly a hand claws out from underneath the ring.
Oh, and by the way, they were wrestling in purple lighting.
Yeah, it was purple lighting. It was like the Fiend's old lighting, but purple.
Yes.
Yes, a hand comes out the ring, all burnt and scarred. The glove completely
glove with
ripped.
only like 2 fingers left.
Yeah. Well, obviously, he still had fingers, but like only 2 fingers of the glove.
Yeah, that's
left.
what I meant.
I just thought I should, in case you haven't seen it. But yeah, the hand comes up, grabs
Completely
Randy's leg.
Yeah.
Randy freaks out. Fire comes from the hole, and out comes the Fiend. Wow.
Well, you see our thumbnail and you'll know what we're talking about.
It is the remains, but for the podcast listeners, of course, it is.
Yes.
If you imagine the old Fiend, but as he would look after he's been set on fire, he is completely melted. Basically, his mask
Legend of the
is
Toxic
melted.
Avenger.
Yes, he's very like connected to those kind of horror movie aspects, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and stuff like that.
Exactly. Like when they get burnt up and like their face is just melting down. So it's basically the mask melted down. Yeah. His hair completely burnt up. So you see like the hair is kind of blackish. His whole body, like even the attire, his gear is like burnt up. Yeah, it's really cool.
And compared to the general charisma that the Fiend just has usually, he was like a zombie. It was like there was nothing inside of him, is kind of how it felt like. Alexa ends up pushing Randy into the Fiend. Fiend hits Sister Abigail, and then Alexa mounts him for a pinfall. That's what she did. She mounted him for a pinfall.
Which is silly because she should have been disqualified as soon as the Fiend intervenes.
Yes, well, she probably should have been disqualified if she tried to throw fire.
Yeah, exactly.
Or when she tried to drop scaffolding from the ceiling.
I guess the ref was too scared.
Or it should have been a count out when they were outside the ring for about 3 minutes.
So it's like, I guess the ref was just too scared to come in.
In storyline, the ref runs away as soon as the fire hits the first time. Yeah. But then just suddenly reappears for the pinfall.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit silly.
But it's fine.
It's fine. It doesn't really matter.
No.
Like, to be honest, the segment probably should have just ended with them on top. They didn't necessarily need the pinfall, but
exactly.
It was supposed to be a match, so it's good to have the finish, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
But Alexa is on top of him, and then the Fiend is standing behind, completely deadpan. And I'm very interested to see where this goes.
Yes,
it really feels
creepy.
like we were talking about it before, and for me, it feels like we're going to be like slowly rebuilding the Fiend, like slowly bits of him are going to start slowly coming back over these next few weeks,
like healing and stuff. Like imagining, like if it was Bray Wyatt wrestling or something and just having bandages all over his arms and stuff like that, like trying to heal himself.
And like, if we're going for this Firefly Funhouse match, which we have to be going towards, because I can't see how they can do any of the shenanigans inside the ring with actual people.
Yeah,
It's not possible. So it's going to have to be a Firefly Funhouse match.
Magic.
And
sorry,
no one's going to get this reference apart from you, apart from me. It's from Danganronpa V3. If anyone knows, there you go.
It's just funny.
Yes, but it really feels like, we're going to slowly it's the rebuilding of the Fiend to get him back to what he was.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to have to heal himself with the glove, and the Firefly Funhouse is going to have to be rebuilt around him or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, perhaps we start the Firefly Funhouse match in like a burnt.
Will the puppets recognize him?
Maybe, who knows?
Will they be burnt as well?
But like, if we actually start like for the Firefly Funhouse match, we could start the match literally in the ruins of where like he burned down the house originally.
Yeah.
Because he burned down the house where Sister Abigail was.
Yeah, exactly.
You could start it there, and then you slowly rebuild up the Funhouse when you're breaking down Randy Orton. The more he breaks down Randy, the more the Fiend comes back to being more what the Fiend was, until eventually he is finally back to the Fiend. Then he hits the mandible claw, and 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Randy's done. Randy is lost inside the Firefly Funhouse, and he takes a few months off.
Yeah.
Which he kind of deserves. He's done a lot recently. He's been doing a lot of work. And again, similar to Sheamus, another man who's done his best work in a long time over the last year. Randy Orton has.
Yeah.
As much as I didn't like the Edge stuff, but the stuff with Drew was really good. And everything that's been going since then.
Doing so well.
He's been super reliable, and like his character stuff with the Legend Killer was really great. So he deserves a little bit of time off after Mania.
Yeah.
He deserves it. But we move on to our main event of the night.
And I sigh at this.
And we sigh. So obviously Edge is our special guest enforcer for this match. Which just means that Edge just chills. He just chills. He just stands
chilling
there
at ringside. He's not even like fighting for any side whatsoever. He's just there.
He's kind of he's just standing there. It's not even like he's because obviously being an enforcer gives you some special abilities per se in the match.
Yeah.
So he should be calling out like, oh, it's a rope break, ref. It's a rope break.
Exactly.
And the ref has to listen to him. He should have been doing. It should be that kind of stuff. But
he
instead,
was just standing by the announce table, just looking, and
just
sometimes,
staring.
like if Daniel Bryan was locked, it was in a submission or something, he would kind of like approach the ring but do nothing.
Having him as special guest enforcer, I don't understand why he didn't just have him as special guest referee.
Yeah, from the get go. Yeah.
Like if you were gonna do all this nonsense, then why didn't you just do that? It would have made this match a lot less overbooked if you just kind of cut out this special enforcer stuff and just had him as the ref.
Yeah.
You could have got to the end a lot easier and get rid of the J stuff as well. That wasn't necessary.
You could have had just like Jeff and Edge fight, Jay and Edge fighting on Friday for the special.
He was going to be special guest referee, and then the other person is banned from ringside.
Yeah, exactly. And that would be it. Yeah. And that would be enough. It was so overbooked.
It was really overbooked. So I'm not even going to talk about the action of the match. The action of the match was good, but
between them two was good.
There's no point in really concentrating on it because it's not really what they want you to concentrate on. Like
Daniel Bryan was on top for quite a bit. There was quite a few times he tried to make Roman tap. Nothing like.
He got the yes look in about 5 times in this match. He gets it in once. Roman manages to get to the ropes. He rolls it through into another one, but this time Roman powers out. No sells the yes lock, beats down on Bryan's face for a bit. Roman tries to go for the spear, but Bryan moves out of the way. Bryan goes for the running knee, but instead of hitting Roman, accidentally hits the referee, which knocks the referee out. Edge then sees the referee's down. He's like,
what should I do? What should I do?
Roman hits the spear on Daniel Bryan. Edge goes, and then he gets in the ring.
10 seconds later gets in the ring.
And then he counts the pin, which makes it a 2 count because he spent so long deciding what he was going to do.
Yeah.
Which means Roman technically should have won the match there. Which then would have avoided all the shenanigans that went on later on.
Yes.
But obviously then we wouldn't have the triple threat match at Mania.
Yeah.
So Edge becomes the special guest referee. Edge is kind of getting in their face a little bit. Roman's getting back in his face. Bit of tension, but nothing much really. Bryan, once again, for the 3rd time, gets in the yes lock. It looks like this time he's got it. This time he could maybe have it. Because obviously the story going into this was, can Bryan make Roman tap for the first time in his career? And Jey Uso comes out. Super kick to Daniel Bryan. Super kick to Edge. Taking Edge out. And then he goes and gets a chair from the outside, goes to go and attack Daniel Bryan. And
this is when
Edge.
It starts to get very messy, and I just got so overwhelmed by everything.
It was over as soon as Jay came out.
As soon as Jay comes out, I just felt so overwhelmed.
Yeah.
It was too much things happening in the ring.
So Jay goes for the chair shot. Well, he hits Bryan once. He hits Edge a few times. Goes back to Bryan, but this time Bryan reverses it himself. Gets the chairs to Jey Uso. Gets rid of Jay. And then he looks like he's like considering what he's going to do with the chair. And he decides, he's going to do it. He's going to do it. He's going to hit Roman with the chair. But Roman moves out of the way, which means that Daniel Bryan hits Edge in the arm with the chair. Very lightly, I should say.
Yes.
It's a very light tap.
Edge kind of like gets knocked out.
Edge gets knocked down yet again.
Basically, that's what they should have done if he was the guest ref. Was like the first time the ref got knocked out, it would have been Edge getting knocked out. And
it should have just been Edge gets
this whole 5 minutes.
Let's talk through the match first, and then we'll talk about what should have happened. He hits Edge with the chair. Roman gets a bit of offense back in, but Bryan manages to lock in a chokehold on Roman. Roman picks him up to try and power bomb him, but Bryan manages to get out of it. Bryan gets the yes lock in once again. And this time, he's in it for a good minute. Edge is nowhere to be seen. No one's here to go and check on this count. There's no referee anywhere near. Roman, he's fading. Bryan gets out of it, starts punching Roman in the face, punching him in the face. Roman looks like he's going out of it. Bryan locks it in again. And this time, Roman starts to fade. He starts to fade, and his hand just does a little tap. He does the smallest tap on Bryan's hand.
Taps.
And then Bryan... He should have won the match. He's made Roman Reigns tap. But Edge, as soon as the tap is done, kicks Bryan in the back of the head, kicks Roman in the head, shouts at both of them, beats both of them up for a bit, pulls at his own hair, and storms off in a huff. And then out comes a referee Roman just puts his arm over Bryan and wins.
1, 2, 3. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad we have the triple threat. The triple threat is the correct idea.
Yes, of course.
It is the correct idea.
Yes.
Edge has done nothing for me since coming back.
No.
And I get I'm in the minority because I don't have nostalgia for Edge.
Yeah.
But Edge has come since specifically this run. He's done nothing for me. Like the Randy Orton stuff, fine, whatever. I didn't enjoy it.
It's fine.
It was fine. I don't care. It wasn't the title picture.
It
wasn't the main event of WrestleMania.
He seemed fitter back then, even though
it
wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, he seemed more in shape.
Yeah.
And obviously he was injured, and I don't know whether perhaps he came back slightly too early from his injury or whatever. I'm not going to put anything on Edge or what they decided to do. But I just don't think Edge hasn't been lighting the world on fire for me since coming back.
No, neither.
And mainly, and not just because I don't have any interest in him particularly, but because he hasn't been selling what's been going on. He hasn't done a very good job acting, which he should be able to do because he's been doing TV shows since not being in WWE. He should be able to act better than he did back in the day. But for me, he's just been a very plain, dull guy. And I don't understand why couldn't you just have Edge as the guest referee? Would have made things more interesting from the get-go. You could have had more back and forth between... Like,
our opinion of Edge aside.
This is just to make this match less overbooked.
Yes.
Why not just have
Cutting 5 minutes of it.
Yeah, Edge as the ref. It means you get more storyline actual build throughout the match, because Roman can get in his face, Daniel Bryan can get in his face, and Edge can get in Bryan's face to tease what's going to happen later in the match. Bryan does the submissions earlier. He does loads of them. It looks like he's going to get it one, but then the running knee, the move that's going to put away Roman, he accidentally hits Edge with it. Edge is knocked out.
Yeah, exactly.
And then locks in the S-lock on Roman, does the punches, all that stuff. And Edge, this time he snaps, thinking, actually, this time, Bryan, you hit me with that running knee on purpose. Because he's done it once before. Twice is too many times for Edge. You've hit me with it again. I've had enough of you, Daniel Bryan. Beats down on Bryan. And forget about Roman. Roman. Just have Edge beat on Bryan. I know... Like Edge attacking Bryan, no matter what, is going to make him more of a heel in this storyline. Yes. And he can be tweener, I don't care. It's what he should be. He should be a tweener, in my opinion. Because Roman's the big heel, Edge is the middle guy in this, and then Daniel Bryan's like the baby face. Yeah. So you just have Edge beat down on Bryan. Edge hits a spear on Bryan, stares down at Roman, and he just walks back into the corner, allows Roman to crawl over for the pin. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Edge has screwed Bryan. Exactly. Bryan's going to get his opportunity at Mania. Like, that would have made so much more sense to me, and we'll see. Maybe they don't want to turn Edge that much, but
still, like, it was so overbooked.
It was nonsense.
So easily. And by the way, Roman, there was a point they did tap on the ring whilst the referee was there.
Yeah, he did accidentally tap a little bit too much.
He did accidentally tap on the ring. But anyways, they could have cut like 5 minutes of this overbooking.
And also, my biggest question, why didn't, as soon as Jey Uso came into the match, why didn't Edge just call for the bell?
Yeah, exactly.
Because Jey hit Bryan before he hit Edge. There was like a good 10 seconds where Edge could have just gone, call for the bell,
Ring
DQ,
the bell.
DQ.
Yeah.
Which is what a proper ref should have done in that situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just wasn't for me. And the idea that Daniel Bryan got pinned off of a kick or a chair shot from Edge.
Yeah.
That wasn't enough that shouldn't have been enough to put Bryan away after all of what happened.
Yeah, after him being so strong, getting through the entire Elimination Chamber, getting through this entire match.
Why not just put in the guillotine again?
Yeah.
The guillotine's a really good spot for Roman that saves Bryan from having to tap out, and also shows off the damage that Edge Edge did. I'm using little bunny ears there because he didn't do any damage. To like show off the damage that Edge did, Bryan is immediately asleep as soon as Roman locks in the guillotine. Just do that spot again. At least Roman looks better for that as well.
Yeah.
But we'll see where it's going. Like, we're not going to be... I know we've been negative about it, but we'll see where it goes in Mania. I'm happy it's triple threat. That's really the most important thing. Yeah. Really happy with that, but we'll have to wait and see where it all goes to. Thank you very much for listening to our Fastlane review, and of course we will be back next week to review the fallout from Fastlane and getting on the road to WrestleMania. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next time.